You're my levitator, levitator. Like the legend of a bottle, a rainbow naked to your soul. All I can hold. Bring me to a hot place. Leave me in a safe place. Take me home. I'll give it all to you. You see the way you love me, baby. You lift me up and take me sailing. I'll give it all to you. 'Cause every time you touch me, it takes me.
Hey, angels. Hey, Angel. Hey, Bessie. Hey, Kristen. Red potato! Red potato! Red potato! Red potato! Hey, Karen, how are you? Red potato!
You're my levitator, levitator,
All right, that was really good. Let's kill that music though before we get any more. Well, we'll listen to this song too. Fuck it, we're already in trouble. I'm posting to groups. Give me one moment, guys. Give me one moment.
with the wings never turned up for the party, and I wonder how long until he comes looking for me. So I wait in the room by the river, and I watch the world go by. And I hear a girl cry, and I notice the sound, it comes from my own mouth, and I hear your words. What have I done now? What have I done now? And I look to the wall, and you look to the hallway, and you say I'm sorry for whatever it is. I feel myself grown, 'cause I know I've lived alone with you here for years now. And the scratching of the metal as you put it on the kettle makes my skin crawl, and I feel small, and the birds they slip through the cracks in the glass, and there's blood on the floor. When will this day break? When will my heart ache? When will this day break? When will got nothing better to do than sing songs for you. And you hang me on the wall, so I'm taller than before. And I feel like I might fall, but I don't. I hang here quietly, watching the life we lead like it's a prize. I could never win. You see, I could never swim. When will this day break? When will my heart ache? When will this day break?
Hey, Judy Ann Keelik.
When will I find my place?
Hey guys, how are you? Okay, I've done all my. Hey Karen, how are you? Are you at work, Karen? Hi Bessie. You've never heard which song, Karen? The first one or the second one? I have a lot of good music. I love music. I love music. This is Julia Stone, Angus and Julia Stone. This is the Memory Machine. This might be her solo album. Let me see. This is called Horse with Wings. This is Julia Stone's. Angus and Julia Stone are an Australian brother and sister duo that do amazing music like this. But this is her solo album called The Memory Machine. I don't own the rights to this music. But that's this song. The last song was by an artist called LP, and it was called Levitator. But I like, it's on shuffle. My music's on shuffle. But I like, when she says Levitator, I like singing Red Potato. Because I'm a duber like that. So those are the songs there. I did hear about, Kristen Ravello over on YouTube asked, Dan, did you hear about Alanis Morissette, Garbage, and Liz Phair tour? I've seen Garbage and Alanis live. I've seen Alanis live, I think 2 or 3 times back during her Jagged Little Pills days, and she's awesome live. I've never seen Liz Phair, but I remember her from the glory days of like that 2000s rock, grunge, and you've got to love, what's her name, Shirley? She was fierce. She still is fierce. A little redheaded Scotswoman. Yeah, is she doing Jagged Little Pill start to finish? That's awesome. It's an amazing album still. It really holds up. It's kind of a bummer that she never really achieved beyond that. I mean, her other albums were good. I want to say the next 2 I had and liked them. But they never had the impact that Jagged Little Pill had. It was such an incredible, like, out of nowhere album that knocked everybody back. Hey Michaela, hey Amanda. You liked Levitator? That's by LP. She's good. She's interesting. Check her out. And I like it. It's just sort of inspirational. Like when she sings about being a levitator, it's like, I can do anything. But I like to sing Red Potato just because I'm a dick like that. Sometimes I like to be a jerk. I have like a 12-year-old boy's sense of humor. You can't stay long, Amanda. You have to work. I'm sorry to hear that, but that's okay. You are not at work. You started training this week for breakfast and lunch waitress. Atta girl, Karen. We talk about the money, breakfast and lunch. That fast turnover. Make that money. Just see it pouring into your pockets, my dear. Let it just come on in. And it moves quick and fast because lunch and breakfast, people got to go. They got to start their day. So it's less hassles, less stress. I mean, it can be busy, but that busyness makes the hours go by faster. It's all good stuff. Is it still one of the... So Kristen's saying over on YouTube that Jagged Little Pill is still one of the top 20 best-selling albums of all times. Makes sense. Produced by Madonna, by the way. Alanis Morissette was the first artist that Madonna decided to sort of sign and produce. So that was pretty incredible. Madonna's still making some coin off of that, off the back of that, I would imagine. Madonna's kind of amazing, even though now she looks like a old white Asian lady. It's really weird. I love Madonna though. I'll always have like amazing respect for that woman, except I wish she would just stop at the plastic surgery. But I guess, when you're Madonna, you can do whatever you want. Alright. Excuse me. These little couple housekeeping things. before we get started on the charm readings. Thank you, Kristen, for making a reservation for tonight's charm readings. I'm going to actually add your name into the drawing, so you'll have more than one ballot in this drawing for these mediumship readings. Watch you win them both. That would be ridiculous. So let me make a little card for you, Kristen Rivello. You have one from your previous purchase from 2 weeks ago. I only have 7 names in the drawing, and I'm going to pull out 2 names, so I'm kind of waiting. So I'm hoping that tonight and Friday I sell a couple more charming so that I can add you guys into the box to draw names for the charm reads that I'm going to get. Not the charm reads, the mediumship readings that I want to give away 2 half-hour mediumship sessions over the phone or Facebook video with me. It's for me to practice as much as it's a gift for you guys, but to get into the drawing right now, there will be free drawings at some point for people that, as I get better at it, I will be doing a free drawing where you don't have to purchase anything to get into the drawing, but right now I'm just reserving it for people that actually utilize my services as a form of business. So anytime you buy a charming, your name gets put into the box, and then we'll draw some names out of there. I will check my PayPal right now. I know, no yawning, right, Lisa? Oh, I should turn off Pink Floyd's now playing Us and Them. Ooh. No wonder that'll put me right to sleep. Oh my god, I can hear my dog snoring from the other room. She's like, meow. She sounds like an injured seal. Come on, log in, hooker. Couple of housekeeping things though. Those of you that watch me regularly, thank you for returning. I know that you guys know this, but I'm just going to recite it for anybody that's new on my YouTube channel at this point or on the Facebook business page. But I would prefer, if you have YouTube, to go over and watch the videos now on YouTube. Is the first 6 signs for 2020 for your tarotscopes. They're predictives for your signs. So if you know your sun, moon, and rising, you may want to watch all 3 of those videos and kind of conglomerate all the information together. It might give you perspective into what sort of year you may be having. Oh, okay. So we've got Angel and we've got Michaela. No wonder why we're checking. Thank you, Ducky. So I'm going to add Angel and Michaela in to the drawing and add them to the list of names of people that need to get readings. Okay, let me see here. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. Angel, I need to not be so yawny. And Michaela, C word. Michelle, C word. Okay, you guys, I'm going to put you in my box. I know you've been wanting that for a long time. You're finally getting your dreams. As in the immortal words of Walt Disney, dreams do come true, girls. Alright, so. Creepy! A little creepy! Alright, let's do this. We've got, today is 12/4. We've got Kristen Rivello. I'm just creating this list before I get the music back on. We've got Angel. And then we've got Michelle, or Michaela, I like to call her. Michelle Seward. Okay. Alright, if anybody sends over, you like the Virgo Tarotscope, Karen, for those of you that can't see, I know Pink Floyd is trippy, Kristen. For those of you that can't see Facebook, Karen's is saying, I liked your 2020 Virgo Tarotscope. I have my moon in Virgo. It was interesting the month of June for sure. Yeah, the month of June was, let me see, do I remember June? Wait, no, that was August, was that 6 of Swords. What was happening in June for Virgo? It's really strange. I really feel like this is the thing with Virgo. I'm going to explain this really quick and then we'll get started with the charmings. The Virgo reading today was all about Virgo doing this sort of rebuild from the last few years is what it feels like. So where I think this would fall under your Virgo moon is if you have a moon in Virgo, like your more shadow side, your more intuitive side, you may have been doubting that intuition for the last few years. You may have been, and I would say I get this feeling it's like 5 or 4 or 5 year cycle or something like that is what I keep hearing. It was what I was hearing when I was doing the reading. Like it's been like the Virgos have been stuck in this place of self doubt for 4 or 5 years. So the way I would interpret you're having a Virgo moon, taking some of those things into account as the sign of Virgo, it being in your placement of your moon space. Your moon is more your darker shadow side or your intuitive side, that sort of a thing. There might have been this struggle where you've been having some back and forth or doubt happening, and there's actual real strength in there, is what I would say, Karen, because of there was that Chariot card, there was the High Priestess, and there was Temperance. There was some big power players in the Virgo read today. It was actually a really long read. It was an hour and 16 minutes. But what I could feel, and I don't know if I actually verbally conveyed it correctly, is what it feels like to me for my Virgos is that what you guys are doing is you're doing the deeper work in the year of 2020 to sort of set yourself up for the rest of the decade. That's what it really felt like. It's like gaining back that self esteem, gaining back that self confidence, doing the emotional and sort of mental work to kind of get that stuff lined up so that you can start to really create throughout the decade of 2020 and beyond, right, to 2030. And it will be very successful for the Virgos. And so, you with the Virgo moon, I would just think that that work would be taking place at a much deeper level. It being the moon in your moon space, right? So you might be delving a little bit deeper. You might be finding a deeper sense of self esteem, a deeper trusting in your intuition, a deeper strengthening of that. But like with those health cards and those love cards and how strong they were, and that being in your moon space, to me, that says that it's all the more sort of subconscious, and the healing and the love and the sort of self empowerment for you might be going on at a more subconscious, deeper level. So reap those benefits in 2020 and let that sort of Virgo moon guide you intuitively through those processes. Processes, what is that? That's not even a word. Anyways, so that's just like how I would. That's why I say, like, if you have a sun, moon, and rising and you know what they are, kind of watch all three and sort of pull from all three. There might be similar months that might be significant, and that might cross over from reading to reading. So that might give you like a heads up that like somebody messaged on one of them, because to be honest, I'm just doing them and I don't really remember them after I do them because they're sort of long, and then I sort of drop them and I need to take a break before doing the next one because it's a whole 12 months and it's a large group of people, right? So I'm like reading collective energy for that whole sign, and that could be somebody with that sign in their sun, in their moon, or in their rising. So that even opens up to even more people and more possibility. So it kind of, the answers are sort of vague. You hear me say, oh, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be, because each individual is going to know what that thing is that they're working on, ideally. They should know that, especially if they're watching a video on their horoscope or their taroscope. They would want to know that. If they don't, then they really need to get off of YouTube and figure some shit out, is my opinion. But, so, where was I going with this? So I let them go, and I sort of remember the general gist and energy of each sign, but each sign is coming in different into 2020. Like, I really noticed there's a different energy in each January. Like, the Cancers are, if I remember correctly, are coming in on the Sun card, which to me felt very explosive and energized, which is not how Cancer has been in the last few monthly readings. Cancer's been kind of a little bit down. So I see an uptick in Cancer's energy. It's interesting to watch how these things get, how different each reading is um, from sign to sign. And so I think that there's a cross section. Oh, that's what I was going to say. One of my viewers mentioned on, what day was it? I can't remember, but it was on YouTube. She put a mention in on the Gemini reading, which has gotten quite a bit of views. She said something about, it's interesting that you say to watch out for these key 3 months because those are all the months that Mercury goes retrograde. And I didn't know that. And so I thought that was kind of cool because she said in her little post to me on YouTube, she's like, Mercury always screws me up. I was like, oh shit. Because Gemini's reading is bang on. Like, they're going to have a really. I can't remember the specific cards that they had, but I remember walking away from that reading feeling very excited for Gemini and going, like, fuck all. Gemini's going to have the year in 2020. To me, Virgo's year is going to be more, maybe more 2021. But right now, they're doing important, deep groundwork and emotional work in 2020 to sort of set themselves up to head into 2021 and really start booming out that they're going to have that solid sort of earthy foundation that they like to create before moving forward. Does that make sense? I don't know if I even, so I must sound like a Fruit Loop, but that's what's going on. It's been fun to do these yearlies. It's a little draining, but it has been fun to explore them and do them in this way. And it's neat to watch the different signs kind of how they each are entering into 2020 with sort of what cards. And some are coming in at a slower pace, like Leo, Virgo felt very like sort of at ease, where Leo felt kind of syrupy and heavy, which is not like how I feel Leo energy at all. Leo is usually fiery and dynamic. But I remember the first three cards of Leo were sort of like slow and like a, you know, Leo's also doing some shifting too, I feel like, if I remember correctly in the spread, that Leo was doing some sort of deep internal emotional work that they don't necessarily always delve so into because they rely on their sort of gregarious, giving, loving, happy nature. And this is like a new layer for Leo. This is like a new deepening for Leo to explore themselves and understand themselves more and appreciate themselves at a deeper, more personal level, and then sort of sharing that out into the world. I see that similarity with Virgo and the work that Virgo's doing. It's more impactful and long term, if that makes sense. So, Long-Winded Stories by Dan Geist. Let me find some music. Oh shit, I was talking so much my speaker went off. Hold on. Okay. And also, one other aside too, I should let you guys know that if any of you are interested in, after seeing your yearly, this is a broad spectrum yearly for everybody under that sign, right? If you're interested in further clarification of your year, I can do a similar reading specifically for you. A 12 card spread with a money, love, finance card. Similar to what you've seen in these broad spectrum readings, this can be done for you. You can just email me at the business page. It would be a little bit more expensive because it's an entire year of worth of reading. So it would probably take more than an hour to do, which is my normal reading price is $50 for the hour. But if you're interested in that, that's available to you. You can just message me if that's something you want. It might also give further clarification for those months. Um, and you can like go and watch your your sun, moon, and rising and say, oh, you said this about this card came up in March for the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn's my moon. So, and then you just told me in my personal reading that in the month of March this would happen. How do those two correspond? I can probably tie it together for you in some way. But you have to do a little bit of the research by bringing at least the broad spectrum reading information from your three signs with you to the reading. Does that make sense? So I can give you an in-depth look at your 2020. All right. Okay, let's get into charming, guys. We ready for this? My southern drawl will probably get in the way of my language or my English on here. Okay. Bring on the charms. Look at the chunky. Ducky is a chunky. She's a full-on chunky. That could be the title of my book. What is the title of my book, Kristen? Kristen, wait, I know you're ready, but what is the title of my book? I know I missed what I said. June was the that Three of Swords energy, yes. And that's an important month because there's emotional work happening there, but it's really in dire work. And there was something that I said in that about that heart being your heart and the ownership of those swords then belonging to you at this point. As I was saying that, I was feeling like, oh shit, this is really uh, like important. Like in essence, at a certain point, yes, initial experiences or opinions of others affect us at some level, and they hurt us, right? That's part of the human experience. But when we decide to carry them into adulthood and beyond, and live by them, and choose our identity from them, they become us, and that's our choice at that point. So there's a point in the video where I remember saying this as I was looking at the heart, that like not only do we have ownership and responsibility for the heart and the chakra, the energy center, and what we hold there, but it's also our responsibility what we allow to reside there. So if we allow old experiences and old memories to sort of rule that space for us, that's on us. And so June is that month for Virgo where I think that we're letting that go, or we're doing that work, or some of those things resurface with that Three of Swords. And it's our job to sort of pull out those swords out of that heart and release them. So that's significant shit. Like, I mean, excuse my language, but to me, that looked like a really profound month for really deep honorable change at an emotional and mental level. That's going to set forth like a chain of events that's going to allow that High Priestess card to come in, that's going to allow sort of those things to come in, and then we saw that series end out. Anyways, you guys go watch the video, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But if anybody's interested in their own personal 12-month forecast, you can also book those with me, and I can give you further look just specifically for you. Okay? So, hey Rita D. Mac, how are you? Long-Winded Stories by Dan Geist. Exactly, that would be perfect. Long-Winded Stories by Dan Geist. So, all right, let's get into Kristen Ravello's charming. Kristen, what do you want charmed tonight? I'm gonna open up some of my favorite syrupy sweetness goodness, teeth rotting Mountain Dew, because I haven't had one in a while. And I'm on. Let's get into it. Let's shake our hair back and have a moment. 5 bingos, what the hell? What is she talking about? Lisa Vanderhelm, I can read the words, but I still can't understand a fucking thing you're typing. I don't get it. The chick is like on another planet sometimes. It says, oh no, Tammy's saying Lisa Vanderhelm, hi Lisa. And I thought it was Lisa saying hi to Lisa. That's me, that's on me. I'm just as, out there as Lisa is probably. 5 bingos, what the hell, LOL. I don't understand. Past life charming, please, for Kristen Ravello. Alright. I'm gonna switch the cameras, guys. Interesting. Okay, so this is a very interesting life. All right, so I'm gonna say this, Christian, like right out of the gate. I'm not sure exactly where this is. I feel like this is the Middle East, even though you have these two Indian charms here, both of these, Vishnu and Krishna. Um, I'm not sure that it's the Middle East, but the other thing that's making me like it's taking me to this place of sand. It could be Egypt, but I'm not sure that it's Egypt. This cobra's kind of giving me a little bit of an Egyptian vibe, but it feels like I'm seeing the water too. Like I feel like you're near the shore or the sea, and there's a lot of sand. I know that sounds crazy. It's this starfish and this crab too that's also giving me full-on beach vibes. But with the significance of this life, what I feel like is going on in this life, or the big like sort of part of this life is this charm here. It makes me feel like you were male in this lifetime. I definitely have a distinct feeling of male because of Vishnu and Krishna here. Um, and we don't have any past, present, future here, right? And this life to me, because there's not a whole lot of charms, it feels like it was sort of a simpler life for you in the sense that life was clean or easy to a degree, right? Um, there was sort of, I feel like you were young, you were strong, you were handsome. I can hear that. Like I can feel that. You were probably very popular, is what I sort of feel like. I'm not sure what these letters are. You have a Z, an O, a V, an I, and a U. But what I am going to say is that you were this amethyst is making me feel like you were very intelligent, intuitive. I feel like there was a grace to you. It's giving me kind of Aladdin vibes. Like I'm seeing Prince Aladdin, but I don't think you were a prince, although you were attractive. And why I say that is because we have this Krishna down here, and this is the romance Krishna, which says to me that when you were younger in this lifetime, you had a lot of attention for your good looks. But I don't get the feeling that you were royal in any way. I get the feeling that you might have been sort of the normal class of the time, but you were special. People noticed you. That's this starfish also. This starfish is showing me this ability to shine in this lifetime, this ability to sort of uh, uh, stand out, even if you weren't trying to, right? And this says to me that there was an intuition about you, and there was a sort of intelligence about you that was very keen. So like I feel like you were blessed with like not only a smart mind but also a beautiful face, a very handsome face. I feel like as I'm looking at this lifetime, I feel like if you were to walk into a market, like a busy sort of maybe Indian market, or I see the sea. So I know that India has a coastline. I don't know if this was India. I feel like it's more Middle Eastern than that, but maybe it's early India, like long time ago India, long time ago. But when you walk into a market, what I see is attention is on you immediately, and you're not anybody special in the sense that you're not like famous, you're not wealthy, you're not necessarily a pauper either, but you are of like sort of the normal class. But people know you because you've not only are very charismatically attractive, like physically attractive, but when they speak with you, this charm here, this amethyst says to me that you were highly intuitive, you were highly intelligent. There was like a sort of you worked out of your sixth eye more so, and you communicated with people like you looked them in the eye, and you could almost tell that they weren't intimidated by you, they were attracted to you, but they sort of, what is this that I'm feeling? Like it feels like you knew to a degree that you had a hand up, if that makes sense. Now, and the reason why I want to say this is this starfish is here, right? And this starfish says to me that you are sort of blessed. that you were sort of, and this Cancer, this crab here to me speaks to not only the sea and matches with the starfish, which tells me like sort of places you near the ocean. The cobra also gives me an Indian vibe, but it also gives me that sort of Middle Eastern vibe too. But this crab also makes me think that like emotionally you were very sensitive. This crab being the element of Cancer and the sign of water, you might have had a very a bit of an emotional sensitivity to you that also made you more endearing to the people around you, more attractive in a way. There's something to be said for this charm and this charm being so close together that I feel like how do I want to put this? Like if I spoke with you in this market, or like if I was around you, first I would be taken aback by your handsomeness, right? But then, and I have to say this too, even men were attracted to you, even though they weren't gay, right? You were that handsome or that beautiful as a male that not only were the women sort of attracted to you, like hands down, but even men found you to be like sort of, they didn't understand it. They were like attracted to you uh, not only for your sheer like physical beauty, but also for this emotional connection you had with them, for this intuitive connection you created with people. There was this level that you created, or this communication that you had with people that was both intuitive and emotional, that maybe at the time was different than what people could afford to communicate at. Does that make sense to you? Like, you were connecting with people on a level like, okay, here we go. So where I want to go with this is you were so pretty at first that like it almost not put people aback, but they were like already sort of set at ease because they were in awe of your handsomeness or in awe of your beauty, right? The attraction to you, the natural just physical attraction to you opened them up to you, right? In a way where you were then able to sort of come in and communicate with them from this beautiful sort of emotionally connected intuitive space. So you were like this sensitive gorgeous man. You weren't gay or anything like that. It was just you were very very attractive to the point where like everybody knew you, in the sense that you weren't necessarily famous, but people knew of you. Like people spoke of your handsomeness is how I feel. Now, there's another real significant part to all of this from the very beginning that I was looking at, and that's this charm. I feel like in this lifetime, when this sensitivity, which was actually a strong uh, aspect of you, or what allowed you to connect to people, and you used it sort of not in a bad way, but in a way to sort of further yourself in life. Um, you lost your mother in this lifetime. This feels like, this is obviously the Mother Mary, but it feels like at some point in your middle point of your life, she passed, or uh, she passed is what I'm feeling. Like her memory, the reason why she's not face down is what this is telling me, that she's face up even though she's upside down. This says to me that when she passed, her memory stayed with you for a very long time. And the reason why I say that is we have these beautiful charms of believe in your dreams, we have breathe, and we have the Sacred Heart. And all of them are sort of thrown over. Like, I feel like when her passing happened for you, um, you sort of lost sight of everything. Like, you lost this whole idea of the ability to breathe, the believing in your dreams, the idea of having this shining heart, um, or living life from your heart, which is what you were doing here with this crab and this amethyst. It sort of shut off for you. You were still beautiful, don't get me wrong. You were still handsome. People were still attracted to you, but it feels to me like things were never the same after her passing. I also feel like you never married in this lifetime. Like when she passed, I want to say, to me it felt like, I don't know, for back then, living to your 20s or 30s or 40s even was a very long lifetime. So this was like your middle age period of that time. So let's say if you live to be 40, you were around 20 when she passed, right? It was your midpoint of your life. You maybe weren't quite yet married, or you still had the option to marry, and you chose not to. You chose sort of like, I feel like this passing was such a sort of devastating blow that you never sort of, how do I want to put this? Like, I feel like you let a lot of what you used to reside on, or what you used to, I'm not reading this. I need to take some of this stuff from this life into my current life. Laugh my fucking ass off. What I want to say is that you didn't, how do I want to say this? What, like, the things that you relied on, or the things that like were strong about your beauty, and it wasn't just an external beauty. There was an internal beauty that's happening here, right? There's an external beauty that I see here in the star, and I see here, that says to me, and also the grace of Vishnu was here too, right? So this is a big, powerful Indian god that sort of is blessing you and near your star. So to me, it feels like you had this sort of romantic ability, this ability to charm people, this ability to connect to people. And when you lost her, you sort of lost that connection, or you gave up that connection. You stopped sort of utilizing that ability to connect with others. Let me just look at this for a moment. Like, to me, I want to say, like, these gifts that you had, or these, maybe they were emotional and physical attributes that you had that were so, like, precious to others, just didn't matter to you at that point, because the thing that was most precious to you was this connection with your mother. She was sort of the center of your universe, or the center of your world. She brought you up. She was the one who raised you to be sort of this this emotionally centered, sort of wonderful kind of gentleman. And when you lost her, I feel like you never fully recovered from that. I feel like you sort of maybe went through life and you were, how do I want to say, like, maybe okay, but I feel like you maybe turned off your heart. It says, wow, interesting connection to my mom in this life, very different from my connection in my current life. Well, but here's the thing. How much have you sacrificed in this life around the connection you have, or the disconnection you have to your mom in this life? Because I feel like the losing of this mom in this life, you said a lot of things, and a lot of sort of attributes, or a lot of graces and wonderful things about you, you sort of threw aside, or you didn't allow yourself to access anymore, or you didn't acknowledge and believe in, right? This to make the believe in your dreams. Like, it's sort of like you stopped. So are we having like a similar lifetime, or a similar experience in this lifetime, maybe around a dislocation with your mother, even though your mother still walks the earth? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense to you. But I feel like this heart charm, there's this beautiful heart here that's sacred and has this light shining from it, but it's flipped over. Like, in this lifetime, you kind of shut that off. And I think that that was part of your beauty in this lifetime, is people saw that. They got that emotional connection. And you might still be able to intuitively and emotionally connect to people in this lifetime. But there was this part of you that sort of shut off that heart. And that might be, I mean, I don't want to like dictate this reading to this lifetime now, but there might be a similarity in the disconnection that you're suffering, maybe, or that if you feel as though you're suffering a different disconnection from a mother that's in body right now, it might be the loss may still be the same. You're saying, honestly, dislocating from my mother was extremely freeing in this life. Well, maybe that's what you're needing to do, because it feels like in this lifetime it locked you down. Do you see what I'm saying? Like here you lost your dream, this breathe charm is like flipped over. It feels like you put everything on lock. And maybe in this lifetime you and your mother were doing the same sort of dance, and maybe this is what you've needed to do, is sort of free yourself and in essence get back some of these gifts that you gave up in this lifetime. And I don't think that this mother took them from you, per se. I feel like you gave them up. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa says this reading is phenomenal. Love the way you are seeing this for the person receiving it. Kristen Ravello says, wow, holy shit, my mind is blown. I think it's all good stuff, Kristen. I just think that there was a part of you that you sacrificed, and I don't even know that you realized you were sacrificing it. Like I think that to me, when I look at these charms, it makes me feel, or it makes me touch base with this really beautiful love that you had for this woman. And when she passed, sort of, it's not like you threw stuff away. It was just more like you sort of let everything fall to the wayside in an effort to sort of make sense of this passing or this separation. And so maybe in this lifetime, you're actually making those separations from a more conscious place and determining, like, that you can be separated from a mother figure and still own your power, right? Because we give away, in this lifetime, it feels as though, like, it's not that we gave away our power, but we sort of, like, lost sight of it or didn't keep hold of it in some way. She says here, I've said multiple times that I had to let my mom go in order to survive and become who I am supposed to be. So, just wow. And I feel like in this lifetime, you sort of lost who you were supposed to be behind your mom. So maybe in this lifetime, you've actually gained that back. Lisa Vanderham says she's getting chills. Her ears are ringing a bit. That's just your angels talking to you, Lisa. You're welcome, Kristen. You're totally, totally welcome. Do you need to screenshot this? Awesome. Okay. Is Angel here? Do I have any like newbies, like completely new people here? I know that there's only 10 viewers right now, so I'm not sure who's all watching. But do I have anybody that's completely, completely new to me? That's just wandered in? I guess there's nobody really new. You are here, Angel? Okay, cool. Angel, what do you want your charming to be on? On point, please? Shut up, Angel. What subject do you want your charming to be on? It can't be on point, Angel. It belongs to you. Oh, Angel's messing with me. I asked what does she want her charming to be on, and she said on point, please. Now her and Michaela are having a grand old laugh. Do you want me to charm Murder Mitten's past life? That would be fun. Let's. Hey, Tammy. Everybody over there is laughing. We should charm Murder Mitten's past life. Mary Lyman, you can pay for a charming. Through Messenger. What do you mean through Messenger? You can send over payment via PayPal and just say it's for Friday, Mary, and I'll have you down on the books for Friday. Angel, do you know what you want your charming to be on? Or do you not have a topic? Or do you want it on Murder Mitten's past life? Oh, general, and I hope for big money, big money, big money. Oh. Okay, let's see what we've got. I don't know if you can send money through Messenger. I don't know how to receive money. Can I get a general reading for Angel, please? Hold on, I need to go back in there. There's something I'm missing. Since I've never done this before. Alright. I was just told that I need to go back in, so we have THEIEIN. I don't know. You've got way too many letters. I think when it's this many letters, it doesn't really count. I don't know. So anyways, there's your letters. You have a THE, a C, an I, an E, an L, and an N. So let me look at this. Alright, so I'm going to say this, Angel. It's funny you say big money, big money, big money, because when I look at this... Wait, what are you guys saying? Chitlins? What? Spell jars? What are you guys talking about? Big money, no whammies. When you say big money, though, I'm looking at this. You do have this green dice, which usually represents either healing or money in the future. And it's next to the carnelian stone, which is kind of cool. So... to me, that's all about grounding and first chakra sort of survival stuff, and it's in your higher mind in your future. So to me, it feels like the money could be coming in, or you could be grounding in your higher mind some ideas or thoughts in your higher mind and making that money come in. But that's like in your future, and that's the only thing in your future. Right now, I want to talk about this though. Like, this is all sort of present mind kind of craziness, and I don't mean that in a bad way. What I mean is I feel like there's a lot going on for you at present. Let me turn down this music just a little bit. I feel like I'm screaming over it. Okay, so you have the symbol for, I think this is Sagittarius. Yeah, it is Sagittarius. He's sitting here in the middle, and you have the citrine stone, which to me, this is all about third chakra, solar plexus stuff, which is sort of where we control our control center. And this sort of feels to me like you're not feeling like things are very much in control right now. This stone, it's weird. What I'm hearing from this stone. The stone is talking to me. Are you ready, guys? What I'm hearing from this stone is that it feels to me like this is your third chakra, right? And your third chakra is feeling underutilized or under not able to control everything that's going on. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but that's what I've got going on here. Is this feels like a almost an underactive chakra in a way. Like this stone, I know it's a small stone, I put it in here, this is the size of it, but to me, the signifier that I'm getting from it is that it feels smaller than normal, or like it's being turned down. Like there's some sort of, like we're not allowed to create from here right now, that we're holding it back. So, what's going on? Are you guys, I see all of this mad typing. Theelin, a naturally occurring weak estrogenic hormone secreted from the mammalian ovary, synthesized and used to treat estrogen deficiency? What are you guys talking about? Theelin. This is weird because I was going to ask you, look at this, guys. You have the medical charm right here underneath the crown. And you have the queen crown, which could be a feminine problem in the sense that, like, the queen crown is here, and you have the medical charm face down in the center. So it's sort of face down underneath your femininity, right? This crown is sitting here, and you're telling me that this word is Pheolin, a naturally occurring weak estrogenic hormone secreted from the mammalian ovary, synthesized and used to treat estrogen deficiency. I don't know. I'm just pointing these things out, and so are you guys. So, all right, so let me get back into the charms because I'm paying attention to the chat too much. When you guys, here, I gotta tell you guys this too. When you guys chat really long stuff, I have a tendency to want to read it, and then I get away from the pulling the charms, and it pulls my attention. So, I'm gonna try not to read the chat. It's not that I'm ignoring you guys. It's just it's better if I pay more attention to the charms and stay in the flow of the charms. So with this, I'm gonna say this. We're gonna go back to this third chakra energy here. It's dead in the center, and it feels like you're trying to control a lot of stuff out of your third chakra, but your third chakra feels like it's underperforming. I don't know if whatever this is that we were talking about is connected to the third chakra, but it would be worth looking into and possibly finding out about. Because to me, this feels like there's this feeling of not being able to quite handle everything right now. Now, underneath here, we have the believe charm, which is upside down. So it feels like maybe you're not believing in yourself or able to believe in yourself currently, or your certainty about your belief in yourself is having a hard time coming through right now. There might be something off medically or like bothering you medically that you might be aware of, or can like sort of sense at a more subliminal or subconscious space, and maybe that needs to be taken care of or looked at. I don't know when the last time you were at the doctor was, but you might want to go or just sort of like have a checkup and make sure that everything's okay. Up in your higher mind in the past, we had the big wisdom. So this to me is a good charm to have up here. It feels like you've learned a lot of lessons in the recent past and sort of have maybe made use of them. You do have the intelligent charm here, and this is the charm for Pisces, I believe. Let me just double check that. No, I'm sorry, this is Gemini. So this could be Michaela, to be honest. The influence of Gemini in your charming. She's definitely close by you. I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know if I would call Michaela intelligent per se. Well, she is the one that came up with Thalen. So maybe she is intelligent, and maybe it's her intelligence that you need right now to help you to sort of figure some of this stuff out and help you sort through some of this stuff. She's definitely here to support you and utilize her intelligence, because the intelligent aspect of this is definitely upright and showing you. Now, we have the rose up here and its face upright and like sort of swirling around. And I also feel like I have to say this. These charms feel like they're swirling, like it's like a wash tub or something, you know, like they're like, and it's like, it feels to me like it's kind of like the energy feels a little bit overwhelmed. Like this, it's making this chakra feel not like it's not able to maintain everything that's going on. Um, I don't know who the significant Sagittarian is in your life. Is it your partner, your boyfriend? I'm not sure, but there's this Sagittarian charm sitting here in the middle of it all, too. This rose to me indicates, like, sort of, I feel like your beauty and your fragility, and I think that it being upright is a good thing in the sense that you're aware of it and you're sort of honoring it. You know that you're protected to a degree, but and you also feel sort of blessed. Like to me, I feel like this is a blessing on some level. You know that there are blessings around you or that there's beauty around you, even your own beauty, but you're not necessarily maybe honoring it as you should because it feels like there's all of these other things that are juggling around here. Now, this hug token next to this chakra says to me also with this sort of chaos that I feel in this swirling pattern, it feels like this is just basically saying she needs a hug. You know, she needs a break. Like she needs to like sort of give herself a little bit of R&R and allow herself that. And I think that you're getting to that point. With this is sort of like heading out towards your future, right? So this hug token is like we're getting to this place of like taking better self-care or giving back to ourselves regardless of sort of what other people say or what we what we think we deserve, right? What we think we, you know, like to me, when I look at this, I'm feeling like, oh no, I can't stop right now. I'm too busy. I've got too much going on. I've got this, I've got that. But you're not, you're starting to let go of that idea and start to like look to the ideas of sort of taking care of yourself or better care of yourself. You also have this chakra charm here, which says to me that this is the like the I can't think of the name of this. Is it chokure, where it's the building of power. So this is underneath the hug token, which says to me if you start loving on yourself and taking care of yourself a little bit more consciously and really like honoring that aspect of yourself, you start to build your power back again. And you need that as you're moving into the future. We also have, this is the, I believe this is for the sixth chakra? No, this is not six. Which one is this? It's upside down, but it's clear. So what? I think this might be the third eye. I think this is the sixth chakra. Let me check my phone really quick. I just want to make sure because I don't want to misread it. But I think it's the sixth chakra. Yeah, it is the sixth chakra. So we have this idea of the third eye and the clarity of the third eye being flipped over. And we also have Metatron's seal down here, which says to me, and you have a guardian angel in the midst of all of this. And I think this guardian angel, he's upright. It is this Samuel? This is the guardian angel Samuel, and he is sort of like a guardian angel of healing powers. Raphael is like the first archangel that's known for being the healing archangel, but Samuel is like a light lime green in color, and he is also associated with healing, the practices of healing. He has a big heart on his chest. I don't know if you can see that, but his heart is next to this hug token, which is another heart. It says to me that there's some serious like heart work that needs to be done, and he's here to help you. I know that sounds kind of I know how you like to goof and be jaded and make jokes, but I really sort of feel like, in all honesty, there's some healing that needs to take place here that you need to do, so that you can heal up your heart and get this clarity in your third eye so that you can move forward and create the things that you want, sort of like the abundance and the groundedness that you want. You've been grounded more so in the past, and you've been able to work from this third chakra with much more sort of skill and um, how do I want to say this? Like much more like self assuredness, but right now it just doesn't feel it to me. You also have the old rusty key, which to me, this is sort of stemming up from your subconscious mind. And the seal of Metatron is here too, which is sort of like massive protection on an angelic level, but it's face down and it's kind of coming out of your subconscious into this present time, like melee. Like part of me feels like there could be a possibility of you fighting it on some level, or ignoring it, or denying it, not necessarily allowing yourself to have it, maybe feeling like you don't deserve it. But whatever that is, you need to stop and let this in and let it come to your aid, because this sacred geometry is also very strong, very powerful stuff. And it's in your subconscious, like half in your subconscious, half in your present mind, trying to get in here to help you to get this sort of belief charm to flip over. You need to start to believe. This needs to like open up. You need to start loving on yourself more, building that power with this chakra charm. You also have the ancient Egyptian hieroglyph button underneath this key, this old rusty key. And this rusty key to me feels like, to me, it feels, it's sort of stemming up out of your subconscious. Like, I feel like this is old information. This is old patterns, old behaviors, old ways that maybe experiences that you've had that didn't necessarily serve you, that you haven't let go of yet, that are kind of coming up and sort of blocking your truer knowledge and your truer awareness, which actually, this knowledge on this button, it's got the hieroglyphs on it. It's sort of like this ancient awareness. Like, how do I want to say this? Like, when I look at these two charms together, to me, it feels like you're an old soul that is allowing the experiences of this life to block you. Oh, and we get dead silence on the music. How crazy is that? So, like, when I look at this, it feels like this is sort of the awareness of an old soul being blocked by the old memories of this lifetime that sort of are the key to unlocking the door to our own belief in ourselves, in our own internal power, our own clarity of our third eye, and our ability to move forward in a way so that we can have the wealth and the abundance that we want, that we can ground in that from our highest of high minds. We have the knowledge. We're certainly smart enough. This giant owl says that right here. It says to me that you're smarter than most. Even this intelligent charm, it is Gemini, so that represents as Michelle in some regards, but I also feel like the intelligent aspect of this says to me that you yourself are very intelligent too. Sometimes maybe almost too intelligent and can overthink things. Underneath this Sagittarian charm, you have one other charm. Let me see what this is. It's the blessed charm, but it is face down. So I feel like you're not seeing where you're blessed at all right now. And I think that you really are blessed, because when you look at some of these charms, they're actually very powerful and beautiful. You have the large knowledge, you have the intelligence here, you have the beautiful rose, you have the blessed charm, you have the accumulation of power here in Shokure, you have the hug token, which means there is the ability to access a very strong self-love and self-care that could do wonders for you. You have this beautiful crown here, which says that you are like, in essence, royalty, and like, it sort of mirrors this rose to me in the sense that you need to honor your beauty and your power, right? And allow for that. There is this medical charm face down, upside down, kind of makes me think that there might be something working around in the background that might be manifesting physically for you. But I am going to say, with the yearly Taroscopes that just came out, and I know that you're a Virgo, and that beautiful Ace of Swords cards that happen to be in the health department, I think that you're going to fix that, hopefully. But I would definitely check that out, or maybe go in for a checkup if you can, because it may not be something that's necessarily like blatantly apparent, but you might want to look at it, because I feel like there is definitely some opportunities here to sort of reestablish your belief in yourself, reestablish your sort of self-love, and also to allow in your sort of guardian angels and this protection here. There's this sort of seal of protection that is powerful shit, and you're kind of either not utilizing it fully or not acknowledging it, or like I would prefer it if it was upright, like this way, right? Like where we know and we're using it and we're moving through life with it, but we have to like kind of get rid of that rusty key first. Let go of some of that older shit that's kind of bubbling up from the subconscious, and know that we're smarter than it, we're stronger than it. Does that make sense? You are smarter than the average bear, but that sometimes makes it harder to, like, sometimes intelligent people can make things more complicated than they need to be, and this to me feels a little bit on the complicated side. You might need the rusty hook at some point. Who's the Sagittarian? Is it your partner or your boyfriend? Because that Sagittarian coin there is really funny, like that it's sitting there in the midst of everything. Oh, Sag is your grandma? Okay. Oh, and you guys just celebrated her birthday, didn't you? Didn't you? Are you talking about your mom's mom? Or is it your dad's mom? It's my mom, her grandmother? Right. The your mom that you just celebrated, right? Her birthday just passed. Oh, cool. So this is her, like, kind of, I feel like saying like she's around you. I definitely feel like that's what that is. Awesome, Stacy Duber. Thank you. Stacy Duber says, beautiful. I've never seen a charm read. I'm hooked. Uh-oh, we have a new chunky. That's a charm junkie. That's what we call him around here. So you can hashtag chunky. That's a charm junkie. So, yeah, no, your mom told me that you guys just celebrated your grandmother's thing, but I didn't know she was a Sagittarius, so that makes sense. That you guys just celebrated her birthday, right? I think it was. I can't remember. But that makes sense for this charm here. She's all around you, and I think that like you need to give yourself a hug and some love. Let her hug you. You've also got these angels on the other side of you, and all of this activity happening around your third chakra space. So I think that there's um, some much needed healing going on right now for you. Just be open to it, my dear. So do you need to screenshot this? And check out this Theolin thing that Michelle has pulled out. Theolin or whatever this is. Because I'm not sure, that's kind of weird. That Michelle always finds the answers to some of these weird letters, and I don't. Because usually when there's this many letters, I'm like, oh, whatever, that doesn't really make any sense. It's just too much. But check that out. Because I'm not sure if that's not some of this. So I'm going to throw these to the side. Did you get a screenshot? She has an estrogen issue? Shut up, Ducky. Really? Okay, you did scream it? Okay, good. I thought she had a testosterone issue, and that's why the mustache. I'm just kidding with you, Angel. You know that, right? Stacy Dubar, did you want a card? And Paola Diaz, you're new here too? Where are you? For new people that aren't buying Charmings, I do single card pulls for free for new members or new viewers. So if you wanted that, I could certainly do that for you. Okay, Stacey, I'm going to do one for you really quick. I'm going to use the vibrational energy deck. Did you have a specific subject? Just give me one word if you wanted me to read on with a specific focus. If not, I can just do. Paola, we're not doing charm readings. We're just doing single card reads for new viewers. It won't be a charm reading like what you're watching. Those are paid. But Stacy, did you have a topic that you wanted me to read, specifically think about while I'm shuffling the cards? And then we'll get to Michaela's charming, and then I will do. Yeah, I will do a card, Paola. Or Paola. Um, I don't mind doing that. I just don't do full charmings for free. I see that, Becky. Thank you. Just general? Okay, thank you, Stacy. Interesting. So the card that you get is End of Days. So where I want to say to this is I want to talk about sort of the ending of one thing to begin something new. And we don't necessarily know what that is. I also want to say this, like when I look at this card, I feel like there was this sort of frustration or anger. If you can give me just a yes or a no on that, Stacy, would you consider yourself to be sort of maybe angry with this situation or something that's coming to an end right now? Because when I look at this and when I was doing the shuffle, I felt like a certain amount of frustration as I was shuffling the cards. Or it felt like sort of like the cards felt a little bit heavy to me. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just sort of like coming to terms with the fact that it is time for things that are like sort of no longer serving you or that are causing you distress, causing you sort of frustration. It's time to let those go. And that's sort of this card. There's sort of this undeniability that's happening in your life right now that it might be pissing you off slightly. Thank you for that. Yes. So, what I want to say about this is it feels to me like things are coming to an end, and what I see here, or where my attention is getting pulled, I'm sorry. What's going on, Lisa? Why are you calling my attention right now while I'm doing a reading? The light is beaming, though, like a huge new shift, maybe? Lisa, if you want to read these cards, you can either come to my house or you could get this deck and start your own channel. But right now, I need to stay focused on doing the reading and not your comments, if that's possible. If you'd let me get into the reading, you might see where I'm going with this. But I can't really go there if I'm being pulled by your comments where you're calling out my name and with multiple exclamation points and stuff like that, okay? So if you could please refrain from doing that and let me do Stacy's reading, I'd greatly appreciate it, because that's why I'm here on camera, is so that I can do the readings. Okay? Thank you. So now that we're at end of days here, is this to me feels like there's an ending coming. There's this thing where I feel like the door or this light that is here, I feel like, me personally, the way that I'm seeing this card or the way that I'm feeling this card intuitively, is that this is shutting down. I feel like this is the end of days for this cycle for you. That there is this opportunity to sort of close this down. And the reason why I say that, where Lisa is calling out this light that she sees because she sees it from one perspective, the perspective that I see it from is that the frustration that you're feeling or the anger that you're feeling is almost based more out of fear about what's next to come or what's to replace whatever it is that you're letting go of. And you don't need to fear, because we have this light here and we have this light further down here. To me, these feel like new portals or new doors, new opportunities that will open to us, but we have to close the door on whatever is not serving us in the now, right? Whatever it is that we have been sort of dealing with and we have been aware has not been serving us. Now, this light to me, I feel like, is your light, or the light that you've been giving to, say, a situation that might be sort of closing in on you or sucking your light dry or taking from you more than it deserves at this point in time. Now, this could be a job, this could be a boyfriend, this could be, just any sort of situation. This could be a friendship or a family member that is a drain on you. And because of that, you've sort of known that, and I feel like there is this sort of frustration. As I'm looking at this card, I also feel like it's not just the frustration with having to close this door, but there's also this sadness. I feel like with this, that's some of this darkness too. And this red in the light here to me is that frustration that I'm seeing. But I also see this green here and the gold, which to me is signifiers of healing and of change. And so if we are open to the idea of really moving forward with our own self-care in mind and with our own sort of self-preservation as the focus, new doors and new opportunities will open for us. I know that it feels unknown, like we may not know what comes next, but that's part of I feel like with this card, part of the challenge of trusting ourselves, trusting our intuition, trusting our emotional well-being and the preservation of that, and moving forward and allowing certain things that no longer serve us to come to an end, to die out, instead of sort of trying to resuscitate them over and over again in hopes that they'll be different. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like when I'm looking at this card feels to me like you have resuscitated and resuscitated this situation probably a few times over, and you've probably given it more of your light than it actually deserves at this point. And even though you may be sad because there are some attributes about this situation or this person that you have love for and that kept you there this long, it's time to let it go. And you know that, and that's the beauty in this card, is that you know that your awareness is such, it's just kind of coming to terms with that and then shutting that door, shutting this portal, and moving to the next opportunity or the next chapter of your life, and kind of finding something that's better suited to you and your own highest good. Does that make sense? Swipe left. What does swipe left mean? Oh, Elise. I don't get it. You're all right, Lisa. Don't worry. I just kind of... If I'm the one doing the reading, let me do the reading kind of thing. That's how I feel. Hey, Heidi Phillips, how are you? So I hope that makes sense. And it's okay, you know, like there's cycles, there's changes in uh there's cycles that we go through. Like death is a part of life, right? Things die in nature, in life. Is death is the like the one thing we can't avoid is death, or the two things we can't avoid is death and taxes, right? We're all going to experience death at some level, at some point, right? Our physical bodies won't continue on with us. So cycles happen to relationships, to jobs, to situations, you know, to like, you know, friendship dramas, whatever. And sometimes it's time to let those things go. Oh no, I'm on Elise, I'm on a restream chat, so I keep the chat up so that I can actually acknowledge people. But it's hard sometimes when I'm trying to read or I'm looking for somebody's answer, and I've got other people jumping in, or they're like, I get it that people get excited and they're watching the cards and stuff, but if I'm reading for new viewers, I like to not be corrected as I'm reading, if that makes sense. So Stacy Duber says, yes, totally resonates. I know it's time to move on. I've known for a few years. Just have to do it. Yes, my dear, you do know. And this is the thing. I want you to understand that I know that you're scared. I feel like there's a little bit of fear because even though, sorry, I just knocked that because I moved my hand so it went out of focus. Let me see if I can get it back in focus. Even though there might be a little jump from this portal to this portal, like from whatever situation you're in and you know is no longer serving you, there is other opportunities out there. That's what these two lights are down here. They may seem unknown, or they might seem far away or not possible, or oh my god, what am I going to do? But I'm telling you, girlfriend, there is stuff out there that is better suited to you. It's just waiting for you. Oh, don't feel horrible, Lisa. It's okay. I know you're sorry. Don't worry. We're good. We are good. Just let me do this reading is all I'm saying. So, um, so to me, it feels like let go of sort of some of this and move your light onto something new and put your attention and your intention somewhere else and see what happens for you. It's time. And you know that it's time. Like you said yourself, you've known it for a couple of years. That's why we have the end of days card here. Endings aren't necessarily a bad thing. Right? Sometimes endings can open up new doorways for us. It's just like in tarot, you know, people freak out over the death card or the tower card. And to me, I think that those are inevitable change that needs to take place and happen. We live in a universe full of change. If we stay the same, we're not growing. There's no, you know, we strive, everybody has this idea of striving for perfection. There is no such thing as perfection. If we reach something that is perfect, it has no room for growth. It has no room for change. It has no room for expansion. And if it has no room, if it doesn't need to expand anymore, then it's really sort of dead at that point. So really perfect is dead. And when you look at those skinny ass fucking models in the fashion magazines, they all kind of look dead in the eyes anyways. And that's like the goal of perfect, right? Or what we think is perfect. So it's kind of funny to me. It's sort of mimicked in our media. But to me, this card is actually like a release, and it's a good thing. So it's up to you to make that decision and let go of the emotions around it. And that's sort of the darkness, the redness, the sort of trigger that's there, the frustration, the sadness, the sort of the maybe there's a little bit of melancholy in there that I might be feeling that you know you kind of worked really hard and you put in a lot of energy and you don't necessarily know that you're ready to let it go. But it is time, and it's okay for it to be time. Just allow for it to happen, you know, and take heart in the fact that you were right, or that your awareness, you know, that what you've known for a couple of years is indeed true. So that says to me that your knowing is on point. That's good. Your light is beautiful. It's shining, and you've given a lot to a situation that maybe doesn't necessarily um, deserve your light anymore, right? You're welcome, Stacy. All right, so I'm going to take that away. Michaela, are you here? Paula will do your card next after Michaela's charming. Lisa, don't feel bad. You're fine. Stop with the crying faces, okay? You are good. Like, calm down, girlfriend. You're good. Oh, look who's here! It's Fan! Oh shit, I got a Facebook feature restriction. What does that mean? I must have gone into Facebook jail. You're welcome, Stacy. If you would please give my business page a like and maybe a follow, I'd greatly appreciate it. That way you get notified the next time I go live. You can also always contact me for full readings that I do with different decks on different subjects. I'm available. This is a business page, so I do this as my work. And if you have any questions about that, you can always feel free to message me at the business page. Hold on, let me show you. We have a visitor. Ouch. Look who it is, guys. Spinster! He's come, the cards are out, so he's come to say hello and sit in my lap while I do this. Alright. So, is Miss Michaela here? Okay, Michaela, what do you want? Michelle, what do you want your, shaman to be on? Do you have a subject? Spinny. Svenitskaya. Spinnies. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate the like and follow. And if you have a YouTube account, please go over and like my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get subscribers over on YouTube so I can get chat over there. Love, please, but I'm nervous to hear it. Okay, that's fine. I don't, you know I'll be good to you. Alright, so can I see, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, Okay, let's get these letters out of here first. We've got T, we've got N, we've got F. Oh my god, the baby's back, Michaela. Oh my god, you're gonna stop getting readings with me, I know it. This baby keeps showing up. And we've got an H, we've got 2 N's, an F, 3 N's. So I don't know that this means anything as far as letter-wise. We've got the F'n. She's gonna get the F'n tonight. Alright. Alright, so let's look at all of this. What is going on here? Girl. Data error retry? Okay, let me see. What is firing off in your higher mind that is not working? There's something that's not working. Data error retry. All right, I'm gonna say this. I like that this is like the sort of the past sector, right? And I feel like you are getting ready to let some shit go. And part of the reason is we have this rubber snake here laying over your serenity and also over your heart chakra. This rubber snake is some motherfucker that you need to let go of. I feel like he is like the rubber snake. You know how I deal with the rubber snake? It's like the rubber chicken. It's kind of like a jokester. He sort of is a pain in your ass, maybe non-committal. And this idea that you are this queen or this crown here to me in the higher mind and in the past says to me that you know that you deserve honor, that you deserve respect. And I think that somewhere along the way, you have, it's not that you've lost sight of it, because this crown is very clear, it's upright, it's right here, but it sort of makes it harder to hold on to this belief of yourself when you've got this kind of rubber cobra or this rubber snake sort of disrespecting your heart, disrespecting your serenity. Right, because this is the serenity charm. Down here, you have the dolphin, or this is actually the fish. I'm sorry, this is the fish charm, which I originally put this in here for the idea of Pisces, but he's also like riding on the Scorpio's tail. And have you ever heard the story? I'm going to share this story with you. I don't know why, but I want to share this story with you because I think it has something to do with these charms here. So here we go. There's the story of the fish and the scorpion, right? Where the scorpion needs to get across the river, so he asks the fish if he can ride on his back and if this fish will take him across the river. And the fish says, no, I'm not going to do it because um, uh, you're a scorpion, you're dangerous, and you're going to hurt me, no way. And the scorpion says, please, I promise I won't do it. I won't hurt you. Just give me a ride on your back, get me across the river, it'll be great. And so the fish says, okay, and he lets the scorpion crawl on his back. And the fish swims across the river with the scorpion, and about midway across the river, the scorpion takes his tail and he stings the fish. And the fish says to the scorpion, why did you do that? Like, now I'm going to die. We're both going to die. And he says, it's in my nature. I can't help it. I'm a scorpion. And so but what ends up happening is they both sort of drown together in the middle of the river. And the only reason why I say this, or why I'm telling this story, is I feel like this rubber snake kind of feels like that analogy or that sort of story. Like, if you were the fish, you're letting sort of scorpions on your back. You're sort of maybe carrying boyfriends that aren't necessarily deserving of your time, or that might be sort of, hitting you with their stinger and not killing you per se, obviously, but every time they maybe do you wrong, or they fuck with your heart, or they fuck with your serenity, or they don't treat you with the respect that you deserve, which is this crown, it kind of chips away at you a little bit. And it kind of makes you a little bit less serene and less apt to want to trust, okay? Now, I am gonna move forward. So we do have this data error retry up in your higher mind. Which this to me, I know you're a Gemini, and I know that Gemini rules air and the intellect. And this to me is kind of funny because it's in your higher mind, and it feels like what you're trying to do is what's the word I'm looking for? Like logically process love through your higher mind. And this is why we're getting this data error retry. It's like the higher mind and love go together, but sort of like logic doesn't necessarily always translate. Does that make sense? So when we're trying to be too logical about certain things, or we're trying to be too much, use too much of your Gemini intelligence, or the practicality, or the what's the word that I'm looking for? Maybe methodical, I don't know, but it's more love, and relationships is more emotionally based. And this data error retry feels like you're trying to process it through a more intellectual space, and it's not necessarily coming through, okay? The baby is here. I'm not touching the baby tonight. I'm just leaving the baby alone. We're going to let the baby be in the higher mind. I have some ideas about this baby, but I'm not touching that baby. I'm going to let you deal with the baby, or you can have the baby however you want it. Now, we do have the frog here, and this is around cleansing. The frog represents cleansing, and the element of that, he's on his belly, which to me feels like there might be some aspect of letting go, or having some sort of a release or a cleanse of your space, of your ideas around love, around this data error retry, around this sort of situation here. If we sort of bring about this cleansing, or allow this charm to sort of go upright, right? And bring that energy in here, I think we open the door for this courage to sort of go right like this. And this becomes our center. And we're almost there. I feel like the word courage is upright, right? But it's like sort of stepping forward in that courage and really owning it. I like that this is your center right now, and this is in your conscious mind space. So you really are trying to do something different, or be courageous and be open to new ideas and new sort of opportunities. But I do think that some of your past history, or some of the things that you might be involved in up until this point, do sort of cloud your vision a little bit, because of their wonkiness, or they're, maybe they've caused you some pain, like this rubber snake. Maybe he's, you've been bitten a couple of times, so to speak, in certain ways. And so that is kind of maybe why this courage stone was sort of like upside down. Like it's not fully there just yet, but you're working on it, and I like that. You do have the hardened heart, and that's face down, which I feel like this needs to come upright too. And when we take this upright, we then understand that every scar on our heart actually is just sort of a badge of experience. It's not necessarily damage, it's not necessarily broken. It actually, these experiences in some ways strengthen us and make us all the more able to love. If we really like start to realize that, we actually find strength in the experiences that we might have seen as sort of heartbreaking. There's this beautiful quote from the book by Khalil Gibran, the Prophet, where they talk about you have to feel a certain amount of pain to the depths so that you can fill those holes with love and refill the heart with love again. And I feel like that's sort of what this hardened heart is saying to me, is that like, even though you might have past experiences or past hurts, those past hurts aren't necessarily, they didn't kill you. They're not the end of the road for you. They've actually they're just experiences that sort of make up the heart that you have, and that heart is beautiful. And the more that you look at it and you study it and you understand it, the more you'll come in appreciation of it. And that's sort of when this hardened heart flips over, right? And becomes more of like where you operate from. And it also affords you this courage too, because there's a strength here in this heart that is really beautiful. And this brings me back to the beauty of this crown and the strength of this crown. It's also here in this heart. It's just you're not acknowledging it, or there's some pain there or some fear around the pain there, that if you actually sort of flip it over and look at it, you're going to find that it's not as scary as you think it is. It's actually just sort of like battle scars, And those are battles that you walked away from. So in essence, whether you feel like you won them or not, it doesn't really matter. You've been able to walk away, so you were strong enough. Does that make sense? And so that should give you the courage. I mean, you already have the courage because the courage was upright, right? But this courage to me says like it just needs that little bit of push, that little bit of like, and then you're good. Now, going forward, this is kind of getting into our future. You do have the couple, the love-making couple here, which is kind of beautiful. I like that, and it's right next to the dreaming, which is the lizard, but the lizard is upside down, right? And remember, this frog was upside down. So when we start this like sort of cleansing process from the higher mind that comes down into the present mind, we allow this frog energy to sort of cleanse this area, that it sort of pours forth this cleansing. Like imagine like a shower of water or emotions coming through this courage stone, coming down and flipping over this heart, and us looking at our heart for what we really are and what we've been through, and that's just sort of like an accumulation of experiences, and that we've survived each and every one of them and actually have been educated by them or strengthened by them. Then we start to realize, and we start to set this chain of events off, where I really see like, and this is where it gets kind of cool. The lizard flips over and heads into the future, and this is all part of the dream. We have the baseball player underneath the lizard, which says you're willing to play the game, right? You're willing to be like sort of be receptive, or the catcher, to whatever, like say, the universe has got out there for you. The lovers are also streaming off of this lizard, this idea of this love, right? And they're heading into the future. And we have the other charm that was my original Gemini charm. This is in the far future, right? But this is the idea of this could be representational of Gemini, but this could also be, sorry, it's out of focus. This could also be, is it going to refocus? There we go. I hate to say this to you because I know you hate when I say this, but this could be the possibility of kids, Michelle. Um, and the reason why I say this is because so we start flipping over these charms, right, heading into the future, because we've done the work and we've started to create the belief. We have the family charm here, right? So this would flip over. This is in the present mind, in the future. We also have the mood ring. The mood ring makes me think of two things. A, your mood becoming lighter or better, more optimistic, more open. That's also similar and reflected in this catcher, right? This baseball playing charm. Hold on one second. Are you eating the heater? That's probably not a good idea. You ding dong. Hey, get away from there. I'm talking to you. Not okay. All right, so the mood ring to me feels like an optimism coming about you. I also think it's interesting that the ring is resting on the family charm. Like to me, I see this like idea of there could be a possibility of like say even marriage maybe. This isn't necessarily there's other rings in here, but this to me could signify that also on some level. Is where I'm going to go with that. This book is about sort of to me it feels like you become smarter and wiser. Or you have become smarter and wiser from this experience of this cleansing and this courageousness that you're sort of running off of or moving forward with. This awareness of your heart and the awareness of your strength and really owning that, it sort of broadens your knowledge of yourself and what you're capable of. And that's the representation of this book. And underneath this book, you have one of my favorite charms, the bulldog. And the bulldog, I put him in here for obviously selfish reasons. Those of you that know me really well know why. But the bulldog to me is definitely not only about like sort of fierce protection, but he's also about like outstanding love and loyalty. And that's what you bring to the table. And so this is underneath this knowledge, right? This is underneath this awareness of who you are and what you've learned about yourself. You bring this beautiful like dog, this beautiful loyalty, love, nobility, and again, that's reflected in the crown also. You're bringing that, and the dog is walking his way towards the future, right? He's walking his way into the future space. So this is what you bring with you to a relationship is these wonderful qualities of, steadfastness, unconditional love, loyalty. And these are things that you need to honor within yourself and own and really understand and know. And you'll have that knowing about them. That's why the book is here. And when you have that knowing, I think that sort of sets you up to be in this place of being receptive to better moods, better ideas, ideas of the possibility of actually like kind of really long lasting relationships that create sort of family from that. The other thing that we have here is the elephant, and the elephant was face down, but it is in the future. And the elephant to me, in this regard, generally it feels like generally the elephant is like sort of that aspect of the elephant never forgets. So this to me is sort of memory, where I think that some of this stuff back here will all become a memory because it looks like the future is so sort of different than what you've experienced in your past. So that's what the elephant says to me a little bit there, but also this elephant being close to the family charm. And I think about how elephants, when you watch nature programming, elephants stay in familial packs where the matriarch is sort of like the powerful one in the family unit, that the whole entire family, sisters, aunts, all of that, they sort of travel together and stay with each other for lifetimes. So I feel like there's a steadfastness to this elephant also that is close to this family charm. So I know you said you were scared to hear about your love reading, but what I think really when I look at this, Michelle, is that there's actual real possibility for something viable and real for you. It's a matter of you believing that you can have that and then moving forward in that belief and no longer sort of giving audience to these guys that don't deserve your attention, right? And I think that you're kind of in that place where maybe you're not necessarily doing that as much as you maybe used to in the past. But as you continue to sort of move away from that and you continue to sort of honor yourself in the way that you deserve to be honored, you're going to start to open up doorways and ideas and opportunities where something real and lasting can actually come about. But you have to, like a lot of these charms, I'm going to say this, were flipped over because they're in the future. So it's really all about what choices you make and what sort of steps you take and how you go about taking them that is going to dictate whether or not you actually get to these outcomes, right? But the possibility for these outcomes are great and very available. I'm going to say that. I don't want to say that like, this is your destiny because all of those charms were indeed flipped over. It's about you doing the work and being, making the right decisions so that you don't continue doing or entertaining the situations that have sort of brought you nothing but frustration, right? Like no more rubber snakes, right? No more scorpions riding on our backs. No more carrying scorpions across the river in an effort to be kind and oh, maybe if I get them across the river, they'll love me. No, what they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up pinching you and drowning you both, right? And that's kind of I think why I told you that little parable. Um but with each pinch, you learn something, and with each pinch, it shows sort of, kind of like the energy of this bulldog is this like this nobility and this unconditional love, and the you've got to remember that even though maybe like I don't want you to feel bad for having maybe made wrong choices in the past for over certain guys or having gotten hurt over certain guys, because to me when we give opportunity to people that maybe don't deserve it, we're generally doing that because we're looking at them with an optimism that maybe they don't have for themselves. And I think that sometimes that is a graciousness that is a gift that we're able to give to people, even though we do it at our own risk, or like we do it risking our own heart and our own hurt. But it is really a gift that we share, right? Like, how do I best explain this? Like when I do readings for people, I really look at them from a place of non-judgment. And I open up the space and allow them to share with me whatever they will. And I don't have any preconceived notions or judgments about it, especially when I'm reading somebody, because I understand and I'm able to see their sort of frailties and their humanness. And I understand and relate to them from a place of my own frailties and my own humanness. So I know that like there's been times where I have given credit or credence to somebody that maybe hasn't deserved it, but what I've realized is that's not a mistake on my part. It's actually a sort of a gift that I've given them, or a part of me that is actually not naive or wrong, but actually beautiful and trusting, right? And so we're allowed to be beautiful and trusting, but we don't want to just give that to anybody, right? So sometimes we have to give that to a few people that are going to sting our backs, so to speak, so that we learn that what we have is valuable and we don't necessarily just give it to anybody. Does that make sense? Don't feel stupid, Michelle. Like I'm seeing your comment now. It says I've been fucked over so much that I felt stupid for still wanting love, but I've learned so much along the way. And I believe that. That's what this hardened heart is. And it's not a hardened heart in a bad way. It's about looking at these love situations or these experiences and realizing that they were teaching tools, that they haven't necessarily broken your heart fully. You're still here, you're still talking about it, and you're still desirous of love. And this heart chakra stone back here says that you've been in it for a long time for the real fucking deal. Like, and I think that the real deal is in your future. It is very possible by the looks of these charms. It's no joke. You have the lovers here, you have the dreaming charm, you have the baseball player, the catcher willing to like sort of receive whatever, the universe gives you that's of quality, and that you know that's going to sort of uplift you, but you have to hold true to that. You have to look at your noble qualities. You have to really own them and believe them and be courageous in them, and don't, the minute like somebody missteps, you step away, because you have the experience to know what a misstep looks like. You've been through it a million times over, right? It doesn't make you stupid. It means that you're wiser now. And you have to be like courageous in that wisdom, and hold fast to it, hold true to it, and know that you can have that love. I definitely see it here. The lovers, the family charm, the ring, the mood ring, like it's all about having a good mood and feeling better. All of these things are in your future, but you have to um, continue to believe, and also let go of some of this stuff in the past that it's almost like we have to sort of thank the rubber snakes, or thank the goofy motherfuckers that we had to like work our way through, all the frogs we had to kiss to figure out that we deserve a prince. Because girlfriend, you have a crown here. And the crown's been sitting on your head from a long time ago, right? You've known that you deserve better. It's okay that you maybe haven't received better as of yet, because you might have had to like experience what's not better to know what it is that you need. So I hope that makes sense. And the one good thing is, girl, you got nothing going on in your subconscious. You're like brain dead down here, girl. It's like flatline. I'm just kidding. And I'm leaving the baby alone. I'm like, let's just put him over there. And we'll put him over there too. Because if you remove the rubber snakes out of the equation, like, look, we have the beautiful heart chakra charm and we have the serenity charm, and both are face up and touching one another. Both are green with healing. Both are very beautiful. So it's like, if we weren't letting these goofy rubber snakes like slither around us, we actually have some really powerful magic going on here for us. What did you say? Wait, why are you all laughing? I don't understand. No, he isn't. Even the dog is laughing. What are you talking about? I don't understand what you guys mean. Stop scratching your ears. What do you guys mean? Thank you, Paola. What are you guys laughing about? I don't understand. Did you want to take a picture of this, or did you screenshot it? Because I'm going to do Paola's card, and then I think that's it for the night. I'm going to just, let me double check my PayPal. I think that's kind of it. Oh, Frano Boy started following me on Instagram. I don't know who that is, but thank you. You guys, if anybody's out there wants to follow me on Instagram, I'm the Engelgeist333. The fucking baby and the dog was laughing. What dog? You mean the bulldog? The bulldog is a good charm. The bulldog's one of my favorite charms. Because he represents like being a noble-hearted individual. You got it, okay. Let me see here. Let me just double check the PayPal, make sure everything's fine. And then I will go. Okay. We're good there, I think. Alright, yeah, we're good there. Okay, so Paola, did you have a oh, my dog? I don't think my dog was laughing at anybody. No, she was just scratching her ear. She wasn't laughing at you. Paola, did you have a subject you wanted me to pull a card for you on? Just give me like one word. And Natasha Ali says, first time I'm experiencing this sort of reading. Yeah, it's, I guess it's sort of fairly new. There's some people that do it over on YouTube also. Stop, look, you've just scratched up your face, baby. Oh, you can't be scratching your face like that. It's bleeding now. Ugh, it's so yuck. On love. Okay, let me look for you, Paula. One moment. So, Paula, there's this slowness and this heaviness that I feel to the deck. I'm just going to say that right out of the gate. And then when I ask about the slowness and the heaviness, I feel like there's a resistance. Like, and it's funny to me. I'm going to like pull a card for you in a moment, but I feel like the resistance is on your end. And I know that sounds odd to me because you're asking me about love. But my question to you is, what is it that you're afraid of? Because I feel like there's a heaviness to this deck right now that to me feels like you're getting, like you're creating your own resistance or fear. Oh wow, look at this card. I've never seen this card before. This is Wild and Free Wind Sprite. And when I'm talking about fear, to me, I look at this card and I feel this sort of hiding going on. She's hiding behind her hair. And this Wild and Free Wind Sprite, it's almost like, I want to say this, okay? I'm going to just go here with you and tell me what you think about this, Paula. And if I'm wrong, let me know if I'm wrong. But I feel like there's this fear. This is the Wild and Free Wind Sprite, right? Like, there's a certain part of you that when you're single, you have this opportunity to sort of be wild and free, and you don't have to sort of answer to anybody or make any sort of choices or changes around somebody else. I have a feeling that when you get into relationships, you lose sight of that, and you might become one of those people that sort of gives everything that you've got to relationships, probably gives a little bit too much of yourself or too much of your freedom away to the relationship or to the other half, and you're probably not given back the same in return. And I feel like there's some of that going on in this card, and there's an awareness of that going on in this card. And so it's similar to like almost Michelle's read, in the sense where Michelle, like I sort of saw like the crown and that sort of thing. It's like, you know, you deserve more, but the experiences where you've given more in the past, you've not been given back that same. So it's like, do we really want to give up the freedom that we have? Do we really want to give up the privacy that we have? Do we really want to give up sort of our like our rights or our uh I don't know, like our freedom to a relationship that isn't really going to be what we want in the end anyways, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this card. And so I feel like you're open to the idea of a relationship. That's these eyes here, like you want it, you're looking for it, you're seeking it, but you're not all in. Like the face is sort of hidden, the face is sort of like obscured by all of this hair and this sort of illusion, or this um like it's almost like you can't commit yet. Does that make sense? Independence is a great word. Thank you, Heidi. That's perfect. Like giving up your independence. Exactly. She says, yes, I've been hurt in the past and I don't know how to trust again. And yes, I don't always set healthy boundaries. And that's okay. You know, Paula, we all do it. That's part of the reason why I can even read it, because I've done it even myself in the past. But what I'm saying here is that I think that you think that this love is going to make things better for you, when I think that there's a deeper part of you that understands that you almost want to stay wild and free. You almost want to retain your independence, because your independence or your sort of your freedom isn't worth giving up to another situation that isn't serving you or isn't the ideal, right? And I think that this card to me says that you're going to know the ideal when it comes to you, but you have to be ready and open for it. And with all of this hair sort of blowing across the face and across it feels to me like the commitment is not there. The idea, like all of this wind going, feels like we haven't grounded what we want and what we need. We've been taking what we can get and trying to make it work, right? And from that stance, we've sort of not really established a grounded idea of what we deserve, what we want, and what are non-negotiables, right? And we're sort of living in this space of, okay, universe, bring me a partner, bring me a partner, bring me a partner, but we haven't really defined what that partner is or what that partner needs to be that we want, that we're willing to make the trade and give up our sort of independence for, or our freedom for, and our ability to live wild and free. So we sort of hide and we play this game of hide and seek. That's what I feel like this sprite is doing in this card. Is it's like, oh, I say I'm looking for a relationship. Oh, I'm on singles dating sites. Oh, I really want to meet somebody that I can love. And yes, that might be true. But do you really know who that is? What qualities that person needs to have? What how they're supposed to make you feel? What you expect them to give you in return? What you're willing to give to them, and where your boundaries lie around that? Like, those things need to be more clearly defined. I feel like when I look at this, the sort of the blurriness of this card says to me that there's a lot of gray area for you in relationships that um, you haven't clearly defined enough yet, because you keep sort of putting yourself into situations where you're expecting the environment or the relationship to dictate to you who you are, when in all actuality, this is the wild and free wind sprite, right? This is all about you defining who you are and then finding the relationship that fits within that. Does that make sense? And I think that part of you knows that. That's part of the reason why there's sort of this obscurity or this hiding that's happening in this card, is because you're like peeking around the corner going, okay, do I want to step out here? Do I really want to be a part of this? Do I really want to go through this again? I've kind of been through this. I've been fucked over a few times before. But the thing is it's like kind of, you need to make the choice not to be fucked over anymore. You need to be willing to make the choice to just like sort of define what you need, what you want, what you expect, how you expect it. Get clear on that. Set those boundaries and then live by them. Live according to them. And sort of, are you ready to do that? That's what I think is going on there. She says, wow, so true. Yes, how amazing. Thank you, Paula. It is, I mean, and we all do it. Trust me. It's a form of, like, relationships are hard. Like, they're situations where we have to be vulnerable to another human being, and that's a scary prospect, right? So of course we would use this sort of we would have these moments of sort of wondering, especially after past experiences that maybe haven't worked out for us. So I don't think that this is a bad card by any means. I just think that this is like, are we in line with what we're asking for? And this says to me that you may not be, only from the standpoint that I think you need to get clarification on what it is you want, how it is you want it, knowing how it is you deserve it, and then only asking for that and not settling for less. Period. And wow, here's the other thing I want to say too with this card, because it is the wild and free wind sprite, is while you are waiting for that or trying to define that, have the most fucking fun you can. Like, because this is the wild and free wind sprite, so there is this beauty, like now that I'm talking about it in this sort of like, having joy and experiencing things, and through testing things that you don't want, you figure out what you do want. There's sort of this glint in his eyes, or in these eyes here, that says to me that you can have fun. You can be undefined. You can let the wind whip through your hair and sort of experience these experiences where they don't have to be tragedies, right? You can move from one thing to the next and sort of go like, oh, that didn't work because he was an ass, or oh, that didn't work because he was too selfish, or that didn't work because he wasn't present enough. But these are all things that we don't have to take to heart and go, oh, it was my fault, I couldn't do it. No, they're showing you what you don't want so that you can further define what you do want. And then you can move forward to the next thing with that one more non-negotiable in place, knowing that much more and having fun while you're doing it. You're welcome, Paula. She says, yes, I will do, thanks. So enjoy yourself. And then you'll know whether or not you're ready to give it up for some guy that maybe isn't necessarily giving you back the equivalent, in return. Because there has to be a fair energy exchange. At least that's my opinion. Alright, so the music is dead, and so am I. I think that's it for tonight, guys. I will be back on Friday night at 7:30 Central for more charm readings. If you guys are interested in getting a charm reading, they're $25. You can send money to my PayPal. You can make a reservation for Friday night. The reservation will get you not only in line and on the list for a charm reading, but it will also get you a entry into winning a mediumship reading with me over the phone or Facebook video. That is something that I'm training in right now. So it's, not a guarantee of who will come through. We can't just pick and choose like, oh, I want that person or that relative. I just give you sort of what comes through, but that's available to you, and it's sort of like not only does it serve getting you guys something a little bit extra for buying a reading with me, but it also gives me the opportunity to practice with people that I don't know. Um, what else? Tomorrow morning I'll be on for the morning forecast. For those of you that are new, I do a morning forecast every morning. If you follow the page, either the business page or you subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the bell, you'll be notified. I do a live forecast every morning of the collective energy for you to look at for the day, things to focus on, and ways of being or ways of, looking at things that hopefully benefit the greater good of all of us. So that's available to you. And then for those of you that have joined late, if you check out my YouTube channel, there's an assortment of different readings and videos on there. The first 6 zodiacs, astrological signs are up for the 2020 predictions for the signs of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Virgo, or Leo and Virgo. So the first 6 signs are up. I'm doing 2 signs a day with it's 12, 15, 17 card spread for just an overview, a general overview for all of people that are under the sign of Virgo, or, you know, you know how it goes. And for those of you that don't know how it goes, go check it out. If you know that you're a Virgo or you have an Aries moon, look at Virgo and then look at Aries, and sort of you might get an understanding of what you might expect in 2020. I'm always available for private readings. If anybody's interested in that, you can message me at the directly at the business page. And please like, share, follow, subscribe, comment. All of that stuff helps me to get out there, to put my name out there. If there's anything here, if you know of anybody that you think would like my work or would enjoy my broadcast, please turn them on to me. I would greatly appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Thank you all for tuning in. I am going to go and veg out in front of some Netflix, and I will see you guys in the morning and then again on Friday night. All right, thank you, you guys. Oh, thank you, Natasha. Yeah, these are, if you watch, I'm in this chair every morning for the morning broadcast. These are my angel wings. So, uh, Natasha, if you come back on Friday night, I'll put you on the list for a free card then, okay? I promise. So just make sure to come back this same time. Well, not now, but like at 7 o'clock. No, 7:30? 7:30 Central Standard Time. Okay? And I will pull a card for you. Okay? And I will see you guys then. Give a like to the business page and hit follow or whatever, and that way you'll be notified when I do go live. And then that way, if you forget, you might get notified and be able to catch me. You're welcome, Paula. You have a great night too. Go be wild and free like that wind spray, girl. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye bye.